Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and we've got a great show in store for you this morning. Wow, summer, where did it go? I don't even know if it showed up here. I think we had summer for about 3 days, and now they're talking something about a polar vortex. My wife says, if it snows in September, we're moving. I go, where are we moving to? She says, we're moving south. I go, we're to northeast Pennsylvania? What are we talking here? It's like, what, are we just going to sell the house and go because it's going to snow in September? You never know. But wow, it's been pretty cool the last couple of mornings. And one of the ways I know it's cold outside is because my dog Max, everybody knows Max, he jumps in bed and he's between Barb and I and he warms up the bed. That's the only, because he doesn't want to be on the floor. It's too cold. I actually put the fireplace on in one of our rooms just to warm up the house in the morning. It was like 52 degrees, I think, yesterday morning. But anyways, the trees are starting to turn, so I have a feeling we're going to have an early autumn here. But you know what? If you're in Chautauqua County, fall season is just absolutely gorgeous. It's a great place to be. I love going out in the woods in the fall, and somehow when the leaves turn kind of that goldish red and the sun's coming through, it's like the whole place is just illuminated in the middle of the afternoon. If you're visiting Chautauqua County for the week, welcome to Chautauqua County. This show is brought to you through Access 5. We have a volunteer team here, as it was noted in the beginning. And we welcome your calls. Come on in, sit down for a little while. If you can't stay for the whole show right now, you got something to do, you can catch us later on in the day or later in the week. If you have a question for me or our guest, you have an announcement, you can call us at this number that's going to pop up here any second. The team does this all the time for me. See, it's like magic. And we will take your calls. If you have an anniversary, a birthday, something that you want to get off your chest, as long as you keep it civil, we'll be happy to have you here. I always tell a lot of the not-for-profits or various organizations, if you have a fundraiser coming up, spaghetti dinner, pancake breakfast, whatever, give us a call or email us earlier in the week. I'm always looking at the camera, so I never know what's down here. This is like the telethon. And email us and let us know when your event's coming up, and we will be happy to share it with you. All right. I also know that it's going to be getting to the fall season because it's getting really like Mark Thomas used to call it the goofy season, election time. I see Rick Perry got himself in big trouble. Our governor is in trouble. It must be these guys are up for re-election or something, because you never hear anything about any of the politicians until we're getting close to election season, and then everybody pulls out the guns and the shovels and digging up dirt and all kinds of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out for both of those governors. We're hoping, keep our fingers crossed, in October that we're going to host Chautauqua County, Destination Chautauqua County. I always get that backwards. We're going to have the debates like we did last year. And by the way, we got really good reviews on the debates from last year, and so we're hoping to do it again this year. So I'm not going to announce who yet. We've got nibbles of some of the candidates that are interested, and we want to do this because last year we felt that by bringing in the candidates, you got an opportunity to see them live. Lots of times people are just names in the newspaper. You don't even know what they look like. But to hear their voices, see how they react to things, and helps you make a decision. And so that's what we're all about here at Access 5. So that's coming up later on in October. We'll be giving you more information on that. I want to give a shout out to the folks over at Edgewater Condominiums. Ran into one of the folks over there yesterday, and we're happy that you're watching the show, and welcome to it. And also our friends in Brockton and Westfield. I run into them quite often, and they're enjoying the show, and that's great. Last week I mentioned that I was looking forward to Sunday afternoon meal with my family, and it was everything you could hope for. My brother-in-law Dan, he had caught I think it was a 6 walleye, so he had those all filleted, and I deep fried them in the deep fryer in the family. And then my sister-in-law Bonnie made a blueberry pie from the blueberries off our bushes. We had zucchini from out of my father-in-law's garden, and it was just like a great summer feast from Chautauqua County. It was like from right here in our own area. What a great place to be. Okay, I have a few announcements to share with you, and then we're going to get into our regular show part with our guests, but I'll get to that in a minute. So let's start with some announcements, starting with Westfield Memorial Hospital. We'll get that slide up here. By August 20, it'll come up here in a minute. Where's the date there? I'm looking at 28th. Okay. We talked about this at length when Patty Ballman was here and Kim Greiner from the hospital. This is a free workshop for folks that are at risk with diabetes. Now, I suspect if you have a family member and they don't want to come, I'm pretty sure if you want to come in to find out more about it, this is, I believe it's 10 weeks. So I'm looking here real quick. Well, it's extended, but it's for quite a while, and it's going to go into all kinds of things. 16 weeks, thanks, Jeff. The issues of exercise, and folks that are diabetic very often are overweight because of the medications they take, or they're limited in their foods and so forth. So this is an epidemic in the United States. If this is of any interest to you, call those folks over there at 338-0010, and it's going to be for 16 weeks, an hour during the week. Why not? It's for you. Okay, moving right along. Our good friend Kathy Young has a photo contest. And now I know we got a couple of photo bug guys here, so I think it's going to be maybe a runoff between Jeff and Randy here. They take the photos right behind me here. But Kathy's got a photo contest, and you got to get your photos in by September 1st. Kay tells you a little bit about that. You got to be living in our district here. You got to send it to her Facebook. Here it is. Senator Kathy Young at facebook.com. If you're not sure about how to do that, ask your grandkids. They'll help you upload it. It's not that difficult, but if you get it on a digital camera, that's half the battle right there. I'm sure you could mail it in. But anyways, you can do up to 5 submissions, and well, it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's show off Chautauqua County and get those photos in. Next one we want to mention is the 5th annual Jack Carlson. Now this is a crazy one. I've seen the video on this. Randy covered it, was it last year? I think it was, the video, and it's a lot of fun. The Jack Carlson Lawnmower Poker Run for Hospice. What a great fundraiser. We got so many good fun things around here. It's going to begin on September 6th. Over at the Mayville Legion Post, and if you are so inclined, I don't know how big or how small your lawnmower can be, but I'm assuming it's got to be a riding lawnmower.
Oh, they have horses.
They have horses. Oh, well, I forgot about that. So anybody that's interested, let those folks know, and there's the information, and we'll be announcing that right along. Okay, just a few other things to share with you. If you're out in South Dayton, I want to give a shout out to you. Bill and I are going to be playing out there at 11 o'clock this morning. This is, I don't even know what today is. I never know what the day is. Why is that? Today is the 16th of August. So if you're watching this later on the week, don't go out to South Dayton to see us. We'll be already gone. But Saturday morning, we'll be playing at 11 o'clock. So as soon as I'm done here, bam, out the door I go. And so our friends out there, I know you may not be picking up the show, but a lot of folks live over in the Chautauqua side of the county on that borderline, because they're really right on the edge. And so we'll be out there from 11 to 1. Tonight, if you are familiar with the Infinity program, my friends who have a duet just like we do, Simba, two fine young ladies, have been writing music and recording. They're having their going away party, and Bill and I were asked to sit in with them for a song, as well as a lot of their other musical friends over at the Infinity program at 7 o'clock. And by the way, if you've been watching the papers, Infinity has a brand new building. They got the old post office down there. They've been tearing down the walls. It's going to be awesome there. And coming up in the very near future, we're going to have the show with the folks from Infinity. We'll talk more about that. Let's see here. Coming up also is the Town of Terror over at the Children's Safety Village. If your club or organization is interested in having a booth there to scare the wits out of everybody in the county, including large adults, there's a contest, and your club can win up to $1,000. Give Terry Kinberger a call over at the village, and she'll give you more information on that, and we'll be letting you know more of that. But last few years, we've had the Town of Terror. I was a zombie for a couple of years. I think I'm going to move to ticket sales. I don't know. Being a zombie isn't an easy job. It takes a lot out of you. I can do music for hours, but being a zombie walking around in the woods and scaring people is a whole nother matter. Anyways, it's a great time, and that's coming up. Also remember that with Greg Peterson and those folks over in Jamestown at the Robert Jackson Center, there's a lot of stuff to remember in this business here. Defenders of Freedom, they're looking for World War II veterans to have their stories captured on videotape. And if you're interested, give those folks a call. And let's see what I was going to say on that. Hurry, because they say there's still 1 million veterans still in the United States that are still active with us, but we want to get their stories on tape, and they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job with various photos and video clips behind the story that goes with all that. Also coming up on August 23rd, over at the Westfield Fire Hall, they're collecting backpacks and school supplies for kids that may not have all the resources to be ready for school. There was a report just recently on TV that I think the cost of school supplies has gone up like 20%, so it's hitting your wallet hard. They're having a little fundraiser, 6 p.m. to 9:30 at the Fire Hall on August 23rd. There's going to be refreshments and music by DJs, cool tunes, and Randy's inviting everybody to come out and have a good time. So just want to announce that this week, and that's coming up. Wow, you know what? I've talked quite a little bit. So what I'd like to do right now, I want to go to a public service announcement, and then we're going to get right into the heart of our show today with our guest. This is for you.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to
I feel like
promise
you're
me
on a
something.
real TV show.
If there's any drinking, I want you to say,
People say, how can you talk
no
so
thanks,
much?
not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, folks, it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome back our county executive now. Last time he was on the air, he was a candidate for county executive. Folks, Vince Horrigan.
Great to
Good
be
morning,
here.
Vince.
Thank you
Good to
very
see
much.
you.
What a great format. Great to be back on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad you could make it. One of the things that I made you guys promise, if you remember, just before we ended the debate, I said, whoever wins, we promise to come back to the show. And because we want you here, we want to hear what's going on in county government and so forth. So Vince, you got elected.
That is certainly the case.
And you've been in, I was laying in bed here counting sheep and counting months. So you've been in the saddle for over 8 months now. So how do you like it? How's it going?
You know, first of all, it's a true honor. It's amazing the people that come to me, that want me at their events, the issues that come before us, people come to me for the answers. So it's a true honor and humbling experience. And as my wife will say, well, how did it go today? You know what I do? On Friday, I kind of take stock and I look back and say, did we get some wins today? Mm-hmm. How about the people? Yeah, are they better off today than they were on Monday? So, you know, there's plenty of challenges. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. And I think we really are in a good place in Chautauqua County. We have our challenges.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. But, you know, we have great people. We have great institutions. We have great education system. And we have great citizens. So I'm very optimistic moving forward. And quite frankly, yes, I like it.
Excellent. You know, I remember I became an administrator at BOCES, and I came home after the first couple of days, and I go to my wife, what have I done? I didn't have the safety of my classroom. I didn't have the safety of being able to close the door. All of a sudden, I was exposed, and then when I became a superintendent, it was like, I remember coming home and I said, I don't know if I did. I was a very good superintendent today. I just didn't feel, I felt defeated. And my wife, you know, she's just tough. And I won't tell you exactly what she said, but it was her like, knock it off, you're a good guy. Just get back in the saddle and go for it.
Well, that's true. You know, you surround yourself with great advisors and people. And, you know, in general, Doc, as I go out, people say, hey, you're doing good work.
Good for you.
Good job. And I'm really motivated by that. I think we're in a great position. These are interesting and challenging times. I don't care if you look at industry, if you look at healthcare in Chautauqua County, if you look at tourism. There's plenty that we need to have strong leadership and vision looking forward. But I'm very honored and thankful to be in this position.
Great. As I told you, there was a few things I wanted to go over, and I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was here and I had the newspaper spread out, and I had the 47 guys and gals that were arrested for the heroin business. I was in shock. I was in shock that the ring was so big. I was in shock that these people are sucking the juice out of our citizens. But the part that shocked me even more is that we've got people that are keeping them in business. And I don't understand where this is coming from. When I was growing up, you know, everybody thought, well, drugs was supposed to be part of our culture, and I never got part of that. I mean, I was a rock and roll musician. Everybody thought I did drugs, and I never did all that junk. And we got through the LSD phase, we got through the marijuana, and now this thing, heroin, shows up. Heroin wasn't even anything that we ever thought of. We always thought of it as more of a somebody else, big city kind of drugs. And here it is in Chautauqua County. And Vince, I've been watching carefully in the papers, I watched Facebook, and I realized that Chautauqua County is on the attack. And so could you speak to this as a county executive, how it's going? I know you've done some forums on this, so I need to be enlightened, and I'm sure our viewers as well.
As county executive, I've taken a leadership role in this. And the reason why I've done that, Doc, I think the drug problem underpins our very thriving quality of life in this county. I don't care if you're a parent, a grandparent, if you're an addict, if you're a treatment specialist, if you're law enforcement, or you're one of those pushers coming into our community. So I've decided that as the county executive, I'm going to take this on. Now, we, in our drug forums and our action teams, have looked at 5 areas. One is advocacy and education. Okay. Advocacy with our legislative piece, and Senator Young, Assemblyman Goodell, Congressman Reed, Senator Schumer, they've all stepped up, and we've had some good legislation. The other one is education for our communities and our kids and our population. Treatment. Both outpatient, inpatient treatment. We've looked closely at that and looked at our services. Of course, law enforcement, and you saw an operation that went down, and there will be more. We are on the attack from the law enforcement side at every level. In the paper today, Sheriff Gerasi is talking about our task force and how we're all working together. Probation. Our probation officers are really dealing with over 100 cases, but many times that probation officer is critical in our judicial system. So we're looking at the full spectrum of this, but I'm convinced for Chautauqua County to be all it can be, we need people healthy, ready to go to work, good at their jobs, productive, good parents, and people focused on what's important in life. And you know, quite frankly, what's happened, the prescription drug problem, when that got tightened down, the unintended consequence, there were people addicted, turned to heroin. Heroin became very, very accessible, low cost, and it is devastating this community. So we need to work through this like we've done before.
You know, I shared my view on the matter. It's like we're fighting battles and wars all over the world, and you said underpinnings of our community. My feeling is this is like bridges that are rotting away. With heroin and any other drugs, it's slowly deteriorating everything you just said. we don't need to worry about our borders. We're going to cave in.
Well, but here's the positive side of this. The positive side, from letters from parents, in dealing with the addicts that I have personally met with, and looking at our professionals and our law enforcement, you know what? I think we're mobilized. I think this community says, you know what? We do have a problem. Let's address it. And I think that in and of itself is important. We say, we got a problem? Let's get on it, as opposed to, oh, that's somewhere else. So I'm optimistic again. We will work through this challenge. We must. We will not give in to this. So I think it's an important aspect of a thriving community.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about treatment. Do we have enough folks to treat this issue?
You know, when we say treatment, when I talk a lot with my good friend Rick Huber from the Mental Health Association, and from our folks at WCA and Andy and the work that he's doing over there, and then our broader regional treatment centers, you know, it's, do we ever have enough available and access? I think we have the people. Do we have the access? And of course, access relates to insurance coverage, transportation, and those things. I think that still is a challenge. Okay. We have to work on that. But the other side to that is, building, for example, a massive treatment center is flat unaffordable in Chautauqua County, in my judgment, and also may not be the right answer. The outpatient treatments we have through the mental health division of our county government in North County, South County are doing good work. And so we've reviewed all of those things. I think the collaboration to provide access to people that need it is the key, and I think we're making good progress on that. And I do think we're in a good place. Is it ever enough for everybody? Well, we're going to continue to have that discussion.
Okay, that's great. I know you're not a drug, let's say, professional in other pharmaceuticals. That's where I'm going with this. Okay, but right now we've got grandparents, parents watching, hopefully younger folks. If they see their friends, their grandchildren, whatever, are there any, for instance, you know, there's certain drugs have certain telltale signs. Is there anything you can share with folks that are listening right now? So, you know, I don't know if they're using heroin. What would they look for? Do you know? Yeah,
I would say the best advice that I would say is turn to our professionals. Our Office of Mental Hygiene clearly has good information on this. Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse, CASIC has great education and systems on this. But probably the most important thing, I think, is to turn to your physician and go and say, this is the problems that I'm having. Get professional advice. Okay. You know, recently in the news, we've seen tragic situations, Robin Williams and others, and who knows? Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what that's about. Yeah, but you've got to go to the professionals. Turn to the professionals that are here, our medical professionals. They have to give you that advice. But I would say, as Avi Israel, a parent advocate for this, would say, you know, if things don't seem right to you, if this isn't working for you or your family or family members, get into it. It could be a problem of addiction, and you have to go after that, and you have to, you know, take that personal responsibility and go for those answers. We have good information here in Chautauqua.
Excellent. County. Okay, we have a phone call.
Okay.
Ready? Okay, good morning, caller.
Good morning. My question is revolving around the internet speeds in Chautauqua County, and I was wondering if there's anything you're doing to help increase the internet speeds around here. I know they're rather slow as compared to most of the country, and faster internet brings in more businesses. I know there's lots of businesses based where they're going to be based on the internet speeds that they can receive. Is there anything that you're doing to help increase the internet speeds around here while keeping the costs relatively the same?
Well, thank you for that.
I'll let you talk about that.
Okay, thank you, caller.
Thank you for that question. I've recently, in conjunction with Southern Tier West, we've done some, we've got some grants to upgrade our high-speed internet really across the Southern Tier. Now, specifically in Chautauqua County, it depends where you are, but I know DFT Communications is actively involved in this, in high-speed internet and the bandwidth and all of that. So I think we will continue to see, especially in the commercial area, increasing speed and access as we build that infrastructure out. It is essential. We actually are in pretty good shape in Chautauqua County compared to going out west towards Allegheny, out east towards Allegheny County. But we do have funded projects underway to increase the high-speed internet, bandwidth, all of that stuff that's so critical for e-commerce and everything else.
Awesome. Well, I know there's times, like I'm sure everybody that's listening right now, you're on your computer and it's like you just sit there and you wait and wait. But yeah, but there's days it's just lightning fast. So who knows? It's the weather. Okay, let's wrap up our discussion, if we will, on heroin. And I just have a final question on that. So you said if you see something unusual, and I know a lot of times we would tell parents when I was in schools, you see a change in eating habits, they lose weight, gain weight, they're becoming reclusive, anything that's out of the ordinary. I mean, you say, well, they're just being a teenager. There's being a teenager or whatever, but even see this in adults, because this isn't just a teen issue whatsoever. These are adults, people working next to you or whatever. Is there one stop besides a doctor that they could go to? Is there like a hotline or anything? And you may not know the number, but you could certainly.
And what we are right now, of course, we have in our mental health clinics, we have a crisis hotline. We are in the final stages of putting together a hotline, and that'll be on our county website as soon as we get that fully coordinated, a crisis hotline that people can get answers. So that is coming. Stay tuned. That's one of the action items of our forum that we'll be looking at. And, you know, I'm convinced that we can make a difference just by having somebody that they can turn to, a live person, not just a press one. If you have a heroin problem, press one, you know, in there. But
oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the things that I do appreciate about the county executive office, and I will give you credit for this, but I can't. It really was Greg Edwards' is the Monday morning memo. So if I'm going to let you talk about it, but if you don't get this email, I highly suggest you sign up, and maybe you could share how they could do this. Because every Monday morning, no matter where I am in the world, because we do travel, I mean, I could be in Germany, and I'm reading about what's going on in your office. So want to talk about that a bit?
Well, we have a wonderful assistant in our office that helps me with that, Amanda Gallagher. But the Monday morning memo is my attempt to communicate across Chautauqua County of things that I'm working on, things that I've experienced this week, also upcoming events, road construction that we're working on. So you can get on the Monday morning memo, which I blast out to everyone that wants to get it, at horriganv@chautauqua.ny.us. Send me an email that says I'd like to get the Monday morning memo, or just call 753-4211 and tell Amanda or Carm that you want to get the Monday morning memo. Just call our office and we'll get you on there. We need your email address.
Absolutely. Or you can just go Chautauqua Government and you can find you and all that sort of thing. So there's ways to get, but it's a great memo. I really enjoy it. And like I say, it keeps me up to what's going on. That's how I know some of this stuff. We got a Twitter question.
Oh, good.
This is high tech here.
Oh, I hear that.
The question was, and I think I'll try to paraphrase it. It's a question about drugs as a whole, and is there a connection perhaps at the growing levels of poverty in our county? Is there any connection to that?
You know, here's what the questions are. I hear, well, the reason why we have a drug problem is we don't have jobs, or the reason why we have a drug problem is we have a poverty problem, or the reason, you know, etc. And you know what? I can't give you the specifics. I will say this: there's a lot of money involved. And when there's a lot of money involved with people pushing, buying, selling, you're going to naturally gravitate to those challenges. There is this perception that drugs are coming from New York City, they're coming through Philadelphia. We've recently seen a train, and some of that is true to Jamestown, but or to Dunkirk. But you know what? Underneath it all, at the end of the day, what I want to try to do is look honestly at those that have an addiction problem, get them the treatment. Those that think they're going to prey on our society, get them taken to justice. And then try to do what we can to recognize the problem, get the right legislation so we have the right access to treatment, so that we can get people who think they're going to prey on us, go somewhere else. Prey on somebody else, but not in our county.
Okay.
And that's what I look
So it sounds like you guys have declared war on the drugs.
Yes.
And that's awesome. And where was I going to go with that? So basically, you're trying to put the businessmen of drugs out of business and take care of the customers and heal them. And
You know, it is
make
a
them
supply
better.
and demand.
Absolutely.
We have to cut the demand. If we cut the demand, the supply will dry up.
It's a
But
business.
you got to admit it's both.
Yep.
It's demand and supply.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, well, thanks. And thank you for the person that sent that on Twitter. Now, if you're just watching the show, we're live right now, Saturday morning, August 16th. I have Vince Horrigan, the county executive, with me. And if you have a question or a comment or anything else that you want to announce here on the show, please give us a call or comment. You can Twitter us, Facebook us, or you can email us. Okay, Vince, let's move on to something else. I'm convinced that there's a war on drugs here, so I'm a happy man. County home. I actually covered this for the senior report when we were running the senior report for quite a while, and basically, what my role was to say, I'm going to go to the meetings. I'm going to keep on top of it. I'm going to let people know, because we were very, very concerned about the welfare of our seniors. And I know Reed at the time was very, very upset that there was a potential to sell it. The funniest thing to me was when I made comments, here on the show, I said, if all these things are in place, and it was almost like the contract that was written in the end, that certain things were in place to make certain guarantees, that I would be personally okay with that. Long story short, the county home was sold, and so I think people want to know, where's it at, what's going on, and if you can give us an update.
Sure, absolutely. Right now, we have 213 residents in our county home. We have 216 beds. We're almost completely full. Right now, the process is awaiting Department of Health approval of what we call the Certificate of Need. The Certificate of Need is a New York State Health Department really complete evaluation of the applicant, which is Vestra Care, who owns 2 nursing homes in New York State, one in Binghamton, near Binghamton, and the other one in Ulster County that they took over from the county, Ulster County. So right now we're waiting on that. Now, with that said, next week we will begin a transition to electronic medical records, a first-class update electronic medical records, which has always been something that's been suggested and requested. Well, we're finally going to get that done. And we are also in the process of transitioning from county-owned to privately owned. My best estimate is we will close on the county home. We will get approval from Department of Health. Okay, everything is set. You're cleared to transfer.
Okay.
Set your date. We'll have that by the end of the year. That's what we're shooting
So it's
for.
sort of like selling a house. You have to close on it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
But here's my concern. My concern is about 213 people that live there, but I'm also concerned about our workforce that's there. The 213, I want to transition to this to where they say, I don't see any difference,
Right.
or hopefully,
Wow.
even improvement. But I don't want to impact them, so I'm committed to a smooth transition rather than a flip a switch. Hey, we're done with
out,
you.
you're
now
out of
it's
here.
there.
Yeah.
The other thing about the employees, I mean, we have over 225 employees out there. So late August, early September, the staffing patterns are complete. I reviewed those with the new employer. They will start offering applications to people that will then have the opportunity to apply. They will be required to pass a background check, and I am convinced the majority will be hired.
Sure.
They're very pleased with our staffing. In other words, they don't see a huge bloated operation. The current supervising administrator of our county home is Shannon Kay. Shannon is a principal with Vestra Care, but she is our supervising administrator, which the Department of Health has approved. She's the licensee.
Okay.
The actual day-to-day is Andrea Snyder. She's our acting director. Monday morning, we will do a complete review of how the transition's going. We have routine transition meetings. So I'm very pleased. There's exciting programming that they're going to get involved with in medical adult care and other programs. And the employees are, we've gone through a very difficult period, obviously with the employees and the residents.
Oh, yeah.
And I sense out there that people are looking forward now, and I think there's always some concern, but I'm seeing less and less of that, and we are committed to a smooth and orderly transition, and I think this is going to be great for the seniors. It's going to be great for the sustainability of the county home. It will help our tax base. So I think all in all, I think it's going to be a good process.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that. And I know that one of the issues and concerns that many of us had was that is there enough available care facilities in the county for the baby boomers? Okay? And everybody I've asked, they say no. And I see a plus in all this because I know this particular company is talking about putting in what they call that what's the word I want to say here?
Assisted
living apartments,
yeah.
and there's just not enough of that here.
No, and here's the other thing. When we talk that nursing home population, not everyone needs 24/7 skilled nursing.
Right.
They need different levels of
So it's a
care.
little
We
bit
call
of-
it modalities
Right,
of care.
right.
In government, we can't do that. It's skilled or nothing.
Right.
Here, they're going to have different modalities or levels of care, and still taking care of everybody that's in there, but they may shift to just a little different level of care. There's just so much more flexibility in the private sector.
Okay, well, it sounds promising, and we're going to check in back with everybody as we go
Good.
along. So let's switch up here. I got another Twitter question. Let me see here now. Okay, they said the question is, are there safeguards in place so that the home will stay for years to come? And if there are, what are they?
Yes, there's in the contract that we have signed is an agreement that for 10 years it will stay as a nursing home. So that's contractual. The other safeguard that I would say is there is I continue to watch the track record of this company and what they're doing. In Binghamton, in Ulster County, we went back and I've interviewed not only the county executive but legislators in Ulster County who even voted against the sale, and they all said, boy, this thing is working out really good.
Okay.
They're very positive. So I look at the track record. We have contractual safeguards. But I'll tell you, these people, they're excited about senior care. Dr. Bocci, who's the senior medical director, Martin Fardenblum and Ed Fardenblum, who are the principals in Shannon K. This is their business. This is their life, and they're very good at it. Shannon's received some national recognition for innovative solutions to cardiac care, Parkinson's.
Wow.
And so these are top of the line folks. And, you know, I think we tend to sit there and be suspicious, but this is going to be good for Chautauqua County all over, and especially the northern county. Okay. And I see expansion coming, I really do.
Well, we have certainly an aging population here, so this certainly is something that should be a plus. Okay, switching up here, another question came in, and it's, I'm not sure, oh, there's another one. Let's see here, the lines are hot. Let's see. Okay, what is Mr. Horrigan doing regarding the hospital issues we are currently having? Lakeshore, Brooks, how can we keep the county covered in case of emergency? Wowie, that's a big question.
Let me tell you, it's interesting the timing on that. I am having some conversations with every CEO in every one of our healthcare institutions. Of course, we're all aware of Lakeshore, what's going on, and I had a conversation yesterday with John Galati. I was in Brooks the other day talking to their CEO. We spent an hour together, and I have an appointment to see Betsy Wright at WCA. Let me give you my assessment right here. Healthcare is changing. There are changes underway. We have various associations and various changes that our community, I think, is going to have to that we're going to have to understand so that we can sustain the best possible health care for our people, but it's got to be sustainable. I don't know the answer of exactly how that's going to be, but I think we need to look forward and say, all right, for our residents, they need emergency care, they need various treatments, levels of care. We want the best possible. But we also have to say, all right, what's affordable? What's sustainable? What type of relationships are the best? Now, each individual hospital, they make their decisions. You know, all I can do is try to be kind of the connectivity between them all and be able to continue these conversations to say, can I help in some way? What are you thinking about this? You know, I'm convinced that the future of our county is innovative ideas, collaborative ideas, and sustainable. You know, we've got to be in it. We got to think outside the box. We got to collaborate, work together, because it's got to be sustainable into the future. So I think the healthcare is a significant issue, if you will. I'm engaged with the CEOs in various discussions, but I am not in a position to say you'll do this or you'll do that.
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure we have the coordination, collaboration, communication, and for the sustainable future of healthcare. Medicare reimbursement rates are a huge challenge, but our people need good healthcare. We are fortunate to live where we do, so stay tuned, and I can assure everybody that the healthcare is an important thing that I'm involved with.
I sit on the board of directors at the Westfield Memorial Hospital, and we're seeing what you're saying is this transition where we're doing more in home, we're doing more this and that and so forth. I got a question that came through just now, and I think this has something to do with it, but it's affectionately referred to by some and not affectionately referred to as to others by Obamacare. Do you see this as changing the complexion of what's going on here in the county? Is this an effect, do you think?
Yeah, quite emotional. Emotional and political.
Yeah.
I tend to stay away from that. I think that the reimbursement rates for Medicaid, Medicare are a challenge for us in Chautauqua County, because we have many people, seniors on Medicare.
Right.
We have a Medicaid population, so this is a big part. I mean, we're not Westchester County, so we live within that framework. So I think, sure, it has an effect, but I think the bigger factor is our lack of growth in this county. We are 134,000. I want to grow us, but until we do that, we have fewer people. When you have fewer people and you have this aging population, the question is, the real pressures are the economic pressures to keep those good healthcare jobs, to keep the hospitals sustainable. And how do we put that together with other large operations, University of Medical Center of Pittsburgh, Hamlet, all of the Buffalo Catholic system, Kaleida, all of that. How does it all fit together? I think those are the true pressures on us.
So what I'm hearing then is we have growing needs with sort of I don't want to necessarily say stagnant, but not a growing economy, but our expenses are increasing, so we got to grow.
And the reimbursements, we got to grow.
Yeah.
That's the secret. Growth of this county is the secret to our taxes, because we have more taxpayers, not more taxes. It is a secret to jobs, and we've got to create the environment to grow, and that's where I'm focused.
Great.
So, yeah, that's the key.
Okay, we had another question come in, and I'm going to give it my best shot. Are there efforts to expand communication within Chautauqua County from person to person? So what I'm guessing is, for instance, as far as I know, we're the only live TV show in the county. If you want to get your news, you got to go to Buffalo, Erie, wherever. We have our newspapers, but is there anything more out there as far as how do people know what's going on? You know?
Monday Morning Memo.
Morning Memo. All right.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that I'm very big on is a very strong and positive relationship to the media. We are covered, and county government is covered all the time in our legislature meetings and our committee meetings. So I do interviews all the time on the print side with both Jack up north and John and the Post-Journal. And the Westfield Republican that does it as well. On the radio shows, I make myself available in this. But as far as person-to-person communication, I think in the environment we live with Facebook, with instant email and all of that, I can't point to something specific other than my focus is to be very open, and I welcome the community to contact me about anything that's on your mind. And I may not get back to you right that day, But I have a great staff in my office that says, you haven't gotten back to that person. So the Monday morning memo is my attempt to get out to everybody, and we'll continue to work that. But it's a good question. It's one that I'm going to reflect on a bit.
Okay. You know, I remember when Greg was county executive, he had his morning memo out. Monday morning, that's hard to say fast, Monday morning memo. And I remember just typing a little, thanks for the update, da, 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 da. And like 20 minutes later, says, thanks, Doc, for your comment. And I go, he read my email. So, you know, that's the beauty of Chautauqua County is you're not that far from what's going on in government. And if you just take a minute, folks, to even contact these folks, they will respond eventually. You know, we have to respect the fact that you probably have something to do on the hour at times, and you're visiting here and there, and I'm sure your personal schedule really sped up as soon as you took office, but we do appreciate your communication back to us. Okay, let's take a little breather here. I'm Doc Hamels. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and you still have an opportunity to give a call into the show here today. The number will pop up here in a second. If you have a question, you can Twitter us and so forth. And you're with Vince Horrigan, the county executive, and we're covering all kinds of great things. So my comment right now is, if you're involved with drugs, watch out, because the war is on. Let's move on to something else. How about the lakes? I know the lakes are blooming and all kinds of stuff.
Well, this is an exciting venture that we're off on. I encourage people next Saturday to come to the Village Casino in Bemis Point at 9 a.m. You're going to learn about everything that's going on with what we call the Chautauqua Lake Rally. Where we have with Chautauqua Lake, first of all, this has been generally a pretty good season for Chautauqua Lake from the weed perspective. The weeds have been significantly less. Now, yes, it's August, and yes, the water temperature is up around 80 degrees, so we're going to have algal blooms. They come and they go. It's a function of the wind and the rain. The lake is quite full. There's plenty of water in it. So in the balance of things, it's been a pretty good year. But here's what's going on. We have a new alliance structure. We are going to put together an umbrella structure to bring groups together. Most importantly, go after some federal and state money that we've never done before. We've seen how other organizations do this, and we think we can get significant grant money with the Chautauqua Lake Alliance. The next one is we have a sewer integration plan that we're completing around the lake. We have about sewers around 60% of the lake, but we have about 950 septics out there. We want to get rid of those. We want to have the ability
Those
to
are drained into the lake?
Well, no, they're not drained in, but some are in various states of disrepair. So is there some seepage in the lake? We believe so.
Okay.
And so those septics, though, the answer is to hook to a sewer line to eliminate that.
Right.
That is feeding phosphorus. That is why algae and the weeds grow. We have a lot of work in our farmland protection. Soil and Water has done a lot of mitigation, and so for agricultural runoff. And most excitingly, recently, we just are going to do the largest project ever at Goose Creek, the stream bank restoration, to straighten out the meandering, because that is the #1 stream that is bringing nutrients into Chautauqua Lake. Federal money, foundation money, county money, all coming together. Very exciting program. And yesterday, I was on Dutch Hollow Creek with a landowner looking at some of the things going there, and we have a project going there as well to fix up the stream bank. When the rivers meander, especially with high water, rains, and we've had some of these floods, they cut out some of that dirt and they bring the erosion and they bring nutrients in.
Okay.
That's why we have the lake problem.
Oh, we don't need the nutrients.
No, we don't need those, fellas. And then we have other things, macrophyte, which is a fancy word for the stuff growing in the lake, except for algae. Macrophyte strategy plan, which will give us the permitting and the techniques to be able to fight the lake problems in various components, not just one lake. Some areas it's weeds. Some areas we need those for fishing. Some areas for recreation. We're going to have various strategies. So next Saturday at 9 o'clock, Village Casino, the Lake Rally. You're going to hear all kinds of neat stuff going on. I'm very excited about that. And then on Lake Erie, what's exciting is the dredging projects that are underway.
In Barcelona,
we're dredging in Barcelona, Recreational Harbor, Dunkirk, and up there in Cattaraugus Creek and Sunset Bay. That dredging, which has been a function of great work by Tom Reed, great work by Kathy Young, who supports us in so many ways, and County Management Commission and county funding, 2% funding, bed tax funding, has enabled us to get that dredging underway. So good stuff in the lakes all over, and I think it's probably the most exciting thing in a long time that we have real results coming down.
Woo!
Yeah?
Wow. There's a follow-up question that came across Twitter about how can people get information right away about if you have to boil water?
Well, our health department, Bill Boria, is on top of this stuff all the way. Now, we will put out, anytime we have a boil water advisory or whatever, that information comes out. We've had challenges in Forestville. We've had some in Westfield, especially high water. Those informations go out in the newspaper. They go out in radio, in information available in any media that we can to tell people they have to boil water.
I wonder, and I think that's what the writer is leading to. Would there be some way that they could people through Facebook or iPads or iPhones, that there would be like a connection to the county government for like emergency announcements?
Well, what we have is a reverse 911 system.
Oh.
So here's what happens is, for example, we've implemented this a couple of times. If we have a real emergency, it goes through the Office of Emergency Services, computerized system that types in the zip codes, and then a recorded message is made, for example, evacuation or whatever it would be.
Oh, wow.
And then the phones ring. So your phone will ring at your host and it'll say, stand by for a message from Chautauqua County, stand by, and then you'll hear that recorded message. So we have the ability across every home in Chautauqua County through reverse 911 to access their phones.
So let me follow up with that one. So, for instance, many people are getting rid of their landlines. Can they call that system and get their cell phone numbers into it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and who would they call?
Well, I would say, just off the top of my head, I would call the Office of Emergency Services and talk to Norma Cummins or Julius Leone, and just to say,
Norma.
Here's where my question. I want to make sure I'm available for the reverse 911 system.
Okay.
Now we also have New York Alert that you can go on to just Google NewYorkAlert.com. You get text messages as well when this comes up. If we have traffic issues, if we have emergencies, New York Alert's a great system, and I encourage people to go on that and register for that as well.
Okay, thank you for that. That's interesting to know, and people, you can follow up. It's on you now. It's available. I got a caller question. Maybe they just called in and didn't want to talk to you. I don't know. Is there anything the county's doing to get water piped down Route 5? The never-ending saga of poor Route 5.
I will stand here today and I will tell you and your listening audience,
take note.
I am committed to get the North County Water District complete.
Please.
And we will get that done.
Okay.
I had a wonderful working group meeting last week.
Okay.
I'm here to say that the North County Water District now has $1 million in grant funding for the city of Dunkirk production operation, and we just received notice of $1 million from Fredonia.
Beautiful.
This is going to be a Dunkirk-Fredonia supply system. We have $2 million in grant fundings. We're in the final stages now of putting together this district. Where, of course, people want to know the rates, but it'll go all the way from Silver Creek all the way out to Portland, Brockton, and we have the ability to add on to that. For example, we want to add Forestville, not because they are directly in a position, but just in the future, should they need it, like some no-service area, Forestville and others. Forestville right now has their own system they're committed to, but and we're going to continue on down. We want to go down to Ripley. So, but those are follow-on. But this structure, this system, I predict we will be by spring of 2015. I firmly believe we are on the road to start putting pipes in the ground to get that exact problem, because that's going to give us economic, residential development.
People want to live there.
Business development, yeah.
So how many times people say, I'd love to live down along 5, but the water is horrible, or they can't get enough water pressure or whatever.
So I'm convinced this, this is going to be something I am totally committed to, and I'm very pleased with the cooperation moving forward here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, caller, for sending that along with us. We're in the last few minutes of Chautauqua Sunrise. If you have any final comments or questions, please give us a call here, 753-5225, or Twitter us. You are watching me and the county executive Vince Horrigan. That's hard to say fast. And did you ever think that you grow up and would know all about blooming algae or pipelines? I'm listening to all this stuff. I go,
let me tell you a story.
This is crazy.
I was blessed in my life to be able to fly America's great fighter jets, and supersonic, and some would say that's really cool, you're flying F-15s and F-16s. But when I ended that and I came down to land, my life's about the landfill, water districts, and algae. So when you come down, you come down.
You come down, you're grounded.
I'll tell you, as a kid, you never know where life takes you.
It's pretty exciting.
But I've always loved this county and loved this area. I started in Bemis Point, but I've grown to love every aspect. The other day I was in Ripley, and I went through the mansion. I forget the name of
that is so
McKinley.
Cool.
Unbelievable. And this gentleman that has purchased it, he goes, the excitement of Lake Erie wine country. He said, I'm in Erie at the Sheraton, and we're sending people to Lake Erie wine country, to Ripley, Westfield. We used to send them to the Lake District. And I said, yeah, their wine's terrible up there. But I was McKinley Mansion. I've never been in.
It's the Hamilton
Mansion. I'm sorry, and I was blown away by. I've been
27
through Ripley.
rooms. Yeah,
it's gorgeous. Met with the people in Meter's Restaurant. These neighborhood chats.
Yep.
I got
love
more
Ripley.
motivated by the
Ripley's
minute.
a great place. Okay, I had a little quick question, and this goes along with job creation and economic development. Tell us about the Comedy Center. Are you involved with that at all? The National Comedy Center. This is like big
is
time.
a game changer. And Journey is here. She'd say it's going to be the Cooperstown of comedy.
I can't wait.
It is a game changer. It is, the governor personally is excited about this. And when the governor's excited about something, it gets done.
And money
we
flows.
will get economic development funds for the Comedy Center. We just did the groundbreaking for the park. Gebby is involved. The list of foundations, unbelievable. I sat next to a guy at Oshai from Oshai Foundation. He goes, yeah, we think this is good. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Jamestown, I met with the millennials, the young kids.
Yeah.
One of their things is, we need to grow Jamestown. Jamestown's on the move.
Yeah.
I will tell you, between the hotel renovations, the Comedy Center, which is a game change, other hotel projects that are underway, we are headed in a great direction. And, of course, my whole goal is to make sure Dunkirk, Fredonia, and they're doing great work, too. Don't misunderstand me. But the Comedy Center is a real game changer.
Wow, and that's going to just bring in people to see all the other things that are here. It's like a big magnet,
125,000 people. It's going to attract over $26 million.
That's almost another county.
You know what I got to do, Doc? I got to get Route 60 into a 4-lane someday.
Okay.
And we got to take that Lake Erie waterfront. We got to turn it into a world-class waterfront up there. And hopefully all that's going to
Okay, we got time for a really fast phone call. Good morning, caller. Maybe it wasn't caller. Oh, it was a different. I misunderstood my voice in my head.
I've done that a lot.
Yeah, there is no phone call. Okay, folks, we are wrapping up. Vince, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. You just look at that camera. You tell them about whatever you want to tell them, and then we're going to wrap things up here.
Well, I just want to say that in Chautauqua County, I'm very excited about the future. I have something called my Thrive Initiative. What would that be? I am convinced a thriving Chautauqua County is the future. It is the success. We've got to grow this. How are we going to do that? Through the absolute best workforce development and skills for our workforce. We need to attract people here. You're going to hear in my budget presentation, which I'll do in September, a pretty exciting initiative. I'm going to invite a competition on why we love Chautauqua County. Our economic development team, under the new leadership of Kevin Sandwich, our entire planning team, we're on the offense, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm telling you, the future is bright for Chautauqua County.
Okay, folks, that's a wrap. I'm Doc Hamels. I want to thank Vince Horrigan for being our guest today. I want to thank the great team here, Randy Burt on camera, Jeff Zucca on engineering, Chris Burt over on IT, and you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned next week. We got another great show coming at you. I'm Doc Hamels. We'll see you next time. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.